Hey everyone, and welcome to the Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
Grif.
Baka. And
Ah,
I made chicken laugh.
you
Yes,
did.
he made me lose focus at the beginning. As you can tell, Oak's not here this week. He had a prior engagement.
Yeah. You guys took drinks at the same time, and I don't even have anything to drink. I got left out.
I got a coffee
I didn't know. I already
beforehand.
had my
You normally
coffee.
have coffee or something.
I already
I know
had
she
my
usually
coffee,
does.
so
Yeah, so
I didn't
I
need
got my
And
any.
coffee. I'm in a hyped up mood today.
we,
Yeah.
we, we have zombies to bash maybe later, or pumpkins to find.
We'll
I don't
see.
know.
Pumpkins to
Uh,
find? Where's the pumpkins?
Either forewarned
I don't know.
or Phasmo. It depends on
Uh,
if Red's gonna be around.
The Phasma thing doesn't start until the 28th.
I don't know what day it is. Oh, that's a week from now. Okay,
20th?
well,
well, I said zombie bashing, but
Yeah,
yes,
it's not bad.
that would be preferable, but we'll see. Anyway, we'll talk about all that stuff at the end of the show. Well, let's talk about new stuff because there's not a lot, and then we can get through it, and then I can spend the next like half hour just telling you guys how great Silent Hill is.
Well, we'll save the Silent Hill. Well, I guess the Bloober has revealed because we know they've pushed back their game multiple times to make it as wonderful as it is, and so they have been working on another project. It's called Kronos, A New Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mix of Dead Space and shit, what's that other game called?
Soma.
No,
I
not
heard Soma
Soma.
a lot, like Soma and Dead
I guess you
Space,
can kind of see
or
a little Soma in it. It's Dead Space and something else. Damn, what was that other one that came out? I think it was earlier this year or last year. Dead Space, like I can't remember what it is, but regardless, it's that kind of game. So it's a horror action style game. I'm interested. It's only a teaser, so we don't really know, or I guess it's a trailer, so we don't really know much about it entirely. The spacesuits look really creepy, unsettling.
it's like
Their little dome
it's like if
helmet
the
thing.
creators that made Nier decided to remake BioShock somehow. It's like a Big Daddy reimagined in that kind of art style.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely an
I
interesting
mean,
style. It's neat. I'm glad they're working on something else. I it does lean to me because when they were making Silent Hill, they were like, we want to move away from horror games. We want to try our hand at something else, and they're working on another horror game. And they've
yeah,
also said they're open to more
other
Silent
Silent Hill.
Hill
I
stuff.
know. Let me just go ahead and get a remake of most of the series, please. I know
Yeah, if
it's
it's anything like
controversial,
this
but I
one.
would love an update for Downpour. I know people are like, that's like the one of the worst ones. Yeah, but it's
Yeah, but
also
you can
my
redo it.
introduction to the game. It like at its core, that is an amazing game. Like the story behind that one fits so well. It's just one of those things where they didn't bring a lot of things to the table that they should have, but maybe letting somebody else have it because man, when we talk about Silent Hill later, whew. Also, by the way, speaking of Bloober, and people's doubts, because you know people are like, well, I don't know, I'm just not sure about it or anything. They've already this 2 weeks in and sold 1 million copies. So
It's a
good
good
on them.
game. It's a
Yeah,
solid game. We'll get into that
yeah.
later.
Proud of them. Proud of them. But yeah, that one's for 2025. So yeah, you know they were working on it while Konami was delaying launching Silent
Oh
Hill.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So good on them. We'll see. Yeah, it's gonna be on everything. It's PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't not put it on
Well,
everything
at
these
first I
days.
thought when I first saw it, I thought it just had the PC and Xbox branding on it, so I wasn't sure. I was like, well, why not PlayStation? But it is. Okay. Cool. Worries assuaged. Or assuaged, depending on how you like to say it. Uh,
Uh,
which one do you want to talk about next? There's two other ones, and I'd
well,
save the
well, to
PlayStation
be
one.
fair, we have one from Nintendo, we have an article from Sony, and we've got an article from Xbox. So we've got a nice little trifecta here thing going on. The game we've been playing, and then one from each of the bigs.
Um,
Um,
did you have
I'll
a
just
question?
jump to
Yeah, go
Nintendo. I'll
ahead.
just jump to
That was what
Nintendo.
I was gonna say. Yes, same page. Same page.
Nintendo Switch Online has called playtesters to test something that they're working on for the Nintendo Switch Online. It's a real hush hush thing, so we don't know what it is, but it's supposed to do or an update, something major to the Nintendo Switch Online. I'm not entirely sure what it is, or
I,
I
I
guess to what it
mean,
is.
Well, I mean, it could be a number of things because, like you mentioned, like some of the older games having multiplayer, like online multiplayer, and that could be a possibility.
Like the GameCube games that back in the day, because the GameCube did have
Or
internet
I mean,
capability.
even the old um the Nintendo, Super Nintendo things that you would play local co-op, maybe an online feature with them.
That
That
would be
is a
kind of neat.
possibility. Or maybe it's a update to just the whole online system in general, like with voice chat and things like that. And because I mean, while Nintendo is behind the times on things like that, they are generally behind the times on things like that because that they want to make sure that they have a way to control and regulate things like
Yes.
that. So you especially since the family friendly thing, that they don't have people coming in there and throwing out racial slurs and whatever else. And
Yes, they are very protective and very cautious about things like that. And if you're gonna do something like that for a the online and whatnot, you got to make sure that it's mostly protected or at least secure.
Well, I mean, I didn't get accepted to it, so
Well, neither did I, but you also don't really care much for
I
Nintendo stuff.
don't.
But
I'm
it would be neat to
surprised they
see
didn't ask.
more more Nintendo online capabilities.
no, it'll be interesting to find out what it is exactly.
Could be voice chat.
Yes.
I mean, they don't have it, so could be. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't mean to kill the conversation. My bad.
Yeah.
Suggested it was voice chat. It's definitely not that, everybody. Go back to your day. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm distracted by a Lions game, so just to forewarn, it's a big one for me. Next week I will be at one.
What'd you say, Baka?
Nintendo's going to come for Grif now.
Yeah, she already announced it. How dare she?
Just to have Mario come up behind her and grab her from behind and then slink her back into the shadows. Better yet, Wario.
Also, they are opening up Super Nintendo Land at the Universal Studios over here in I think it's March of next year.
Oh. Oh.
So that's gonna be fun. I'm interested to see how that turns out.
What land did they get rid of to build this?
I think they just added to it. They had a bunch of undeveloped land over there when we went back in 2016.
Yeah, but I don't think that was specifically for the Nintendo. Because
that might have been for the water, or added on to the water park land, but I'm pretty sure they just added to it.
Because I'm just curious when they're going to finally lose all the Marvel stuff.
Because didn't they already lose the licensing for that stuff?
Well, I mean, Disney owns it all, but they were still showing that they were still doing the Marvel stuff while we were there.
Yeah, but I thought since then they had rebranded a lot of that stuff because of the licensing, like having to give the licensing stuff back. I mean, it may have been that they had an agreement.
Spider-Man might be the only one that they have gotten to keep, but because they don't, Disney doesn't own Spider-Man's fully.
Not yet. Just give them time.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they keep making fucking flop movies, like Morbius and Craven and Venom and shit, then yeah. Well, I guess technically Venom's done okay, but
yeah, I was gonna say Venom's actually pretty damn good, and they're ending the trilogy here, so.
What was the one about something or other Red? It's not Red Web. Red something. Red Web is a podcast. I don't know. I can't remember. There was one that was a super flop that had a lady in the lead.
Madam Web? Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Web. Sorry, I don't know where I got Red.
No, it was Madam Web, and it was just like, the fuck is this?
Yeah, that was all I heard about it. So, sorry, I didn't mean.
I guess it was supposed to be like her origin or something like that, but it's just like no one knows what's going on. No one knows how this is connected to Spider-Man or anyone else.
But it
Uh,
it had web in the title, so I guess that you were supposed to assume.
Well, and they also advertised 3 of the characters to being like their spider personas and being their costumes and stuff, and they advertised it and showed it off a lot, like 2 seconds at the end.
ha!
They basically showed you the end, like the credits scene, and that's it. That's fine.
So it was more
Look,
of an origin
they're-
story than anything
Like, look,
else.
they're in their costumes now, and it's like,
If
really?
that's not actually gonna happen.
Not this time. You gotta wait till next episode.
Bringing back to gaming stuff. I'm just gonna jump over to the Microsoft one. So, 343 rebranded itself. It's now like Halo Studios, I think, or something like that. Yeah, Halo Studios. That's actually what they called it. It's like, just because you call yourself a thing does not make it so or make you any better at it. So that's gonna be a thing. And I guess that means now they are exclusively gonna produce Halo. No other projects, and they're also moving into Unreal Engine 5. I think that's a mistake, but
I'm gonna hold my opinion until I see something. But I mean, I get it. It's to save costs because instead of working on their own, working with their engine, they're just gonna use a different engine so that they can focus on making a game. But I mean,
we've seen a lot of stuff in Unreal though, and it is not like it is unproblematic. Also, the
and they've
eventual
already
Unreal
homogeny
is very Unreal is very hit or miss as far as the kind of game you are trying to develop.
you are very,
I
very
will
right.
not
And
disagree
like
with that.
they've already talked about making Halo third person too. Remember, and it's pretty easy to do a third person shooter.
I
in
don't
it,
understand
which,
why
again,
you
is
make
so
it third person. Like that
weird.
whole Halo series is built around it was Microsoft's flagship FPS. Okay, so now we need to also make it third person for some reason. That's not what your franchise is about.
Because they're trying to reinvent it, redo it.
Okay. I mean, sure,
So-
let's see how that plays out for them. I'm sure it's going to go just as well as recent previous endeavors. I just
Well, they're moving from stone wheels to glass wheels. I mean,
I guess. I don't see
so
this.
it's shinier and prettier, but it may not function for very well for very long before
Yeah,
it crack.
yeah. I'm not
I also
not
think
sold on it yet.
it's interesting that in the article it mentions that because they're dropping the Slipstream Engine, which is what they used to use for Halo, and adopting like what is the standard for the industry, it'll make it easier for hiring and onboarding. And it's like, it's interesting that you say hiring and onboarding because Microsoft just went through a bunch of layoffs, but y'all are worried about hiring some more people. Okay, cool. You just do you right there. Go for it.
Because if they hire contractors, they can hire them in to do a specific thing, and then when it's done, they can let them go.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And then hire someone else at a lower price and go, here, this is where this person left off. We need you to figure it out.
100%. And with the Unreal Engine 5, you can just trade them out. It's so easy to swap people in and out because everybody knows how to use Unreal.
I feel
I'm
like
having smart moments today.
you are. You're doing so well. So proud of you. I feel like eventually everybody going, well, Unreal's easier than, developing our own engine and maintaining it. Every single game will look exactly the same. Which the homogenization of the industry already, it's trending in a similar direction. I don't it is pretty. Like Unreal is very pretty. But I don't think that every game needs to look exactly the same. I just think that that's a choice that is not going to work out for us in the long run. Like, yeah, it's going to save them money. It means hiring that you can hire, more people that can do, because they can all do the baseline thing. But I think for gamers, it's going to hurt our enjoyment of it, which,
It will, but they're not looking at it that way. They're looking at it, how can we maximize our profits? And that's
which is all that matters at any point anymore. So,
But when the game does shit, they're going to point their fingers at the gamers for not buying it.
Yep, it's our fault that their game didn't do well, and this whole conversation leads really well into the next article too.
oh yeah, how so? You can go ahead and.
because focusing on trying to like capitalize on these franchises only, like Halo Studios now develops only Halo games, and that's the only thing that they can focus on. Like all double, like taking risks or doing things that are different is like gone from the gaming world, which is why I said and have been saying the indie game market is where gaming really is. Like these AAA games have kind of created this rift, and like you look at the big studios and they have like five franchises that make, and that's it. Like that's
Yeah.
it. Blizzard has like they would make they made StarCraft, then they made Warcraft, then they had StarCraft, Diablo, Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch. Like they keep making new franchises as they go on. Where you got companies like Bungie who made Halo, and then they're like, I want to go try something else, and Microsoft's like, we need more Halo. They make a whole studio based on it, and Halo shits the bed, and they're like, let's rebrand the studio and make more Halo. And then it's gonna shit the bed, and they're gonna be like, why is it still doing bad? It's like, because you make it
You're
bad.
recycling shit. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's the same fucking thing over and over again, and you're not trying anything, you're not changing anything. Look at Capcom and Resident Evil. They were like, we're gonna do another Resident Evil, but we're gonna throw the entire formula out the window and make it first person. Everyone's like,
You what now?
what? You're gonna make a Resident Evil game
I mean,
first
to
person?
be fair, Capcom did hit that kind of rut too.
They
Yeah,
did,
a
but
lot of
they took
studios
it and was
do.
like, we need to try
Yeah.
something different. And they were like, let's try it.
But-
Changing engines is not how you change it.
This whole discussion is coming because a former PlayStation exec, Sean Layden, was at Gamescom in Gamescom Asia and was talking about how there's this collapse of creativity, and that's happening right now. And AAA is out the window. Like AAA is ridiculously expensive to make. We're talking like millions, triple-digit millions to make. And then the double A market's pretty much gone because people don't want that. It's either going to be you're buying a true indie or you're buying a triple A. And there's just like that rift that Chicken was talking about has happened. And it's in a weird place. It's like if you're not going to guarantee make millions, then don't bother. And that's
Yeah.
shameful.
Double A games is where it is at now. Like it
Well,
is.
I mean, to be fair, it's not just the game industry that's that way. It's movies. A lot of movies have hit that same area.
Mm-hmm.
TV shows where if it's like if they're not going to make millions of dollars, why even do this? Just stick to what is already popular and known, and will guarantee us as much money as possible.
But I mean, I think the movie industry is running into the same issue that the game industry is, where the big blockbusters
100%
that were
is.
like flagships, they're just not doing it for people as much now. But they've relied on them for so long that I feel like the industry is not allowed to take risks. Like if you're gonna pitch a game to an exec, it's gotta be, this is why this is the next Call of Duty. And even then, if it's something that's a new IP, they're probably gonna say no because it's not Call of Duty or FIFA or whatever your main hub in your industry is. And that's sad. It's sad for all of
Yeah.
us. We used to get such fun innovation and things like that, but
All sorts of new games.
again,
I remember playing back in the
homogenizing
day.
industry.
Yes, and it's sad. Like there's just, which is why thank you. Like Epic may be all mad and pissy about Steam and like it bringing all like everybody to one platform, but Steam gives so much to developers to make these random double A indie games and gives you a place to put it on the store shelf so that people can find it.
Mm-hmm.
Pal World came out of nowhere and everyone's like, that's fucking awesome, and it blew up. Like it gives a place for all of these double A games to kind of explode and find their footing instead of taking big risks from big companies who are like, we need to do
Well, and I mean,
Assassin's Creed 15,
you've also got
which
this.
I think we're about 15.
Yeah, I'm not sure what number this would actually be, but pretty high. Definitely in the
Yeah.
double digits. But we've hit a point in the industry too where there's burnout from the gamers. Like, we're so tired of these big AAAs in some cases that a lot of people have been like, you know what? No, I'm going to go play that tabletop sim that just came out, or I'm going to go play that grocery store sim, that like janky piece of garbage that we've been playing. And well, it's not a piece of garbage. It is fun, but it's definitely full of jank.
Yes.
But those like sub indie titles are what's getting attention because people are just tired of the same stuff. Like, you can only wow me so many times as a blockbuster before I'm like, all right, I know what your formula is. I don't need another one of these. Which I guess the gaming market's kind of split in that, because you do have things like Call of Duty that just constantly, every iteration sells no matter what. Like, it has its base, and it is going to sell, and it will be a juggernaut. It will make money. And I don't really know what you can do to that fan base to make it not do that. I guess there's nothing, but that's the thing, is then the rest of the industry is looking at that as the measure. Like, that's the rule, not the exception. And they're trying to follow suit, and it's just not going to work like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do think he's right, though. I think that there is a significant lack of creativity at the moment. It's not that there's a lack of creativity. It's a lack of people willing to fund that creativity. Their studios and publishers don't want to pay for something that they don't know is going to be amazing. So that those unknown properties and, things that would be cool new IPs that probably would be pretty big just get told no right out of the gate, because they can't guarantee it's going to be profitable.
Yeah, I mean, most companies are afraid. I mean, but certain companies are willing to take a risk. I mean, look at Exoprimal. One of the producers up at Capcom was like, "Hey, let's make this," and the guys were like, "All right, go ahead and try it." That seems like a not really something good, but you can go ahead and try it. It came out, it did fine. It probably made its money back, just enough. But they were like, "All right, time to move on." So.
With the new Assassin's Creed game coming out, that'll be 14 titles, main series titles.
That's a lot.
Is that counting all the little extra ones too?
No, that's why I said main series titles.
I mean, I guess if you look at how long it's been, like how long the franchise has been running.
Because if you look at Final Fantasy 15, it's been out since the late 80s, and it's got 16 titles in it.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying
that one came out in 2004.
Yeah, they don't release a Final Fantasy almost every year.
Thank God, they would be garbage by now.
Like, yeah, they take their time and tell a good story in them.
1987. 1987 to 2024.
Did you say Assassin's Creed?
No.
Okay, you did
Final
say
Fantasy,
it, but...
Sorry, Final Fantasy is 1987.
I was like, boy, I'm pretty sure Assassin's Creed did not exist in the 80s. Thank you.
So in almost 40 years, 16 games.
Assassin's Creed, the first one came out in 2007.
I was going to say 2006. I was close.
2007? Okay. So the first Assassin's Creed came out 20 years after the first Final Fantasy, and they've almost caught up to how many Final Fantasy main titles there are.
Now, how many Madden titles are there?
I think there's one every year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, same thing with FIFA.
Because it used to be like, let's update the rosters and stuff. Oh, okay, fine, whatever. Now they could just do that online, and they're just still, no, let's just throw out a new title every year and make people spend $60 to buy it, or 70 now, or whatever it is.
Oak used to justify it to me, and he's not here, so I can't not give him his 2 cents, because I know that that's one that he and I've had many discussions about. With FIFA, he used to justify it as that every new title for FIFA, like every year, there was a different version of the career mode, essentially, that changed things. But the past several years, they started homogenizing that too. So you're playing kind of the same deal over and over again. It didn't add enough. I think he hasn't bought a new FIFA in a few years now because of that. So I guess back before, they still had plans to keep it somewhat fresh, and then they just threw that out the window too.
Even with like Madden and stuff like that, they would like switch out features every year Like they would take it out one year, and then like maybe next year or two they'd bring it back because they'd swap it out with a different one, and to try to justify it. And now they're just like,
We don't care. We know that you're gonna play
you're gonna buy the
this,
shit
and
anyway.
it's kind of the idea of, because Oak every time they announce a new Call of Duty, he's like, I hope this one has a good campaign. It's like, bro, when are you gonna give up on that too? Because Call of Duty has given up on the campaign side of things too, and I can hear him yelling at me from wherever he's at. I know it's like miles away, but I can hear it. That some of them still had good campaigns. Yeah, but they don't care about that part, and they haven't cared about that part in a really long time because that part doesn't make money. That nobody's buying the game for the campaign except for like
when the Xbox One came out and the 360 version of the Call of Duty game, they completely removed the campaign and the multiplayer, like some of the like where this car would be. They were like, yeah, we'll just replace it with blocks
or it was like cartons or something. I think
something weird like that. But it wasn't a car because they were like, well, that's just too much to render. It's like, no, it's not. You're just throwing it. That should have been the flag for everyone to go. They only care about multiplayer and they don't give a shit about the campaign anymore. That argument is no longer valid.
Yeah, I think
is fine if they wanted to focus on that. Do Call of Duty, whatever warfare bullshit zippity doodah that you want, and keep supporting that. And then you can release a campaign that it can add more things to your multiplayer. Like, why is it so fucking hard for these? If you want to be greedy, fine, be greedy, but fucking do it in a consumer-friendly way. Have your multiplayer.
Because keep supporting it. Not being greedy.
Ain't that the fucking truth?
I mean, to listen again, to hear Oak's silent side of it, as he's reminded us many times with Call of Duty specifically, there's 3 studios and they round robin them for who gets to make which game which year, and they have different titles like Black Ops and things like that. So people are fans of different parts of the franchise. I don't think that's enough to justify it. It's not to me. Because really all you're doing is playing their same multiplayer with new maps because you're playing it for the multiplayer and whatever that part of the franchise's guns are. Which a lot of them share for that too. So it's not enough difference to me, but he would argue with you that there is enough flavor because there are 3 different studios round robining them. I don't think that's true.
I don't think there's 3 different studios anymore.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, there's 3. It used to be, I think it used to be 4, and now there's 3.
Okay.
Because that's how they get them out every year. They like Grif said, they round robin. So like the studio will work on it for their game for 2 years, so it'll be ready to throw out.
Yeah.
And it just
Which, to be fair, it's not that bad of a thing. Like if you're playing one game a year, like you buy a Call of Duty and you play it all year.
Yeah, but even then, with the amount of monetization, I would be burned on it from that. Because they want you to buy the Game Pass, they want you to buy all the cool skins and stuff, they want you to keep coming back and sinking all of your time into it, they have events, so FOMO, kicks in, they want it to be the only game that you play, but then you're expected to go to the next title next year, after you've put all of that extra into the one that you've already bought. So not only do you buy the game, but you buy into the Battle Pass system.
If it's your only game, then there's no problem with that. Like, that's just your free time putting in the...
Like, that's fine, and I'll give it to you. Like, that's absolutely fine. I just wish that was not the benchmark that the rest of the industry used to measure everything else with.
It's because everybody is trying to get into that market. You're not going to recreate Call of Duty. You got to do something else.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the misconceptions, too, is, like, you're not going to get that lightning to strike multiple times. You're not going to... tear down, like, people are always obsessed back in the day when we played, when WoW was still relatively new. Oh, the WoW killer, the next WoW killer, this is going to be the WoW killer. And it's such a juggernaut that game still exists while all of those WoW killers mostly don't. Or they have very small niche, bases for them if they're still playing. But there are certain juggernauts that you're not going to dethrone. And it just is what it is. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the industry needs to be tailored to that kind of expectation and held to that kind of expectation.
100% agree.
Again,
why I stand by Steam and allowing all of like a market for this place. If you want these smaller unknown games, most of the games that we play are indie games.
They are.
We do not play AAA games together.
Let me tell you, it is like that Supermarket Together game. It's free. You can play it by yourself, and playing it with your friends is absolutely absurd. And I love it so much. And I think that I have more fun with stuff like that a lot of times than I would with some of the stuff that we've played in the past that's been like big AAA games.
Because it's made by gamers for gamers.
Yeah, it's made by people that care, that want to put out a product that's fun, and they do want to make money off of it. I mean, literally, nobody is doing this just for funsies because everybody has bills to pay. And that's the unfortunate reality that we live in. But they care more about their product being good and being fun and being worth it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They want you to, like, Baka's bought a couple of the little, like, hat packs and things from that Supermarket Together game, which is literally the only money that he has spent on it because it is a free game, but that's working as intended. It's so fun that he knew we were going to, like, play around with it for a while, and he didn't feel bad about spending the $5 on it.
I mean, the Just Act Natural game that I bought, and then you get to play with everybody.
Yeah,
and it
everybody
unlocks
gets
everything.
to play with all the stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then as soon as they came out with DLC, I was like, I get that too. I bought it right away because I was like, man, small indie studio, handcrafted everything. I was like, it's an easy choice to me.
And it's not even, you don't just have to do it exclusively with, we're playing these games because we got them for free. Like, there are plenty of games that we have played from indie studios that we paid for. Phasmo is a huge one that we have sunk hours and hours and hours and hours into, like hundreds of hours as a group, because we just enjoyed it. It was fun.
Oh, yeah.
We paid for it and don't regret it at all. Like, even if we don't play it much now, we played the shit out of that game.
I got a couple 100 hours in it, so
yeah. I feel like any game that I've paid up to $30 for and I have hundreds of hours in, like, I owe those people money.
Yeah.
I mean, the only AAA game coming out here relatively soon that I am interested in is the new Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, my big AAA just came out, and I completed it last night, and it was worth every single cent that we paid for that game.
Your other one is coming out.
I have reservations about it, so I don't know. I don't know if that one's worth it yet or not, but this Silent Hill is one that I was definitely looking forward to and had really high hopes for. Did not disappoint. Not at all. Like, kind of hate that it was Konami because they've been shitty in the past, and I don't have any love for them, but I do like Bloober, and that game is friggin' phenomenal.
That game is great. Good stuff.
The Tavern game is on sale.
What? Which one?
Which one?
Ellen Tail.
How much?
Again, another indie game that we would definitely put lots of time into.
Oh, it's $11?
That we probably will be putting a lot of time into. Bronzebeard
That's only
is
4
one
player though.
That we haven't put a ton of time into, but it's because it kicks us out a lot. But that one is another free to play. Play it because somebody that's making it, they made it as a student project and then enjoyed it, so they were continuing to work on it and everything. And I think it just recently got an update too with the table numbers.
Yeah. You have table numbers now.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you look at okay, I'll say the three of us because Oak is way more willing to invest in a AAA and has the funds to do so, whereas we're much more judicious about what we spend our money on because we don't have that option. But if you look at the three of us and our most played games of the past year or so, almost all of them are going to be indie.
That Ale and Tail game, it came out with its major update, which is why it's doing a sale. But they added owl helpers. They got little owl stands, and they fly around and help you like pick up dirty plates and whatnot.
So
and
it's kind of like employees.
Yeah, they're
in the supermarket game,
employees.
I just want to go kill shit.
Yeah, you can. You go out and farm stuff and bring it back to the tavern. You got to farm ingredients and things like that. Do adventures.
Like, see, like Grif and all them, like they enjoy the like, oh, let's do the chaotic and make things and serve people and restaurant stuff, and I'm just like, no, I don't enjoy that at all. I just want to go and fucking kill things.
Tavern management. They like the management side of things. Baka needs the action side of things. I'm down the middle. I like to manage, but I like to manage everything, whether it's go out and hunt or stay in the tavern. I could do it all.
Yeah, I don't like the management part of the side of things. I'm just like, nope. I get enough of that shit at work. I don't want to come home and play that.
I don't disagree with that. And even then, I mean, it's not like these multiplayer games, because we play a lot of multiplayer stuff with our friends group, and that's what we spend a lot of our game time on. But there are plenty of things that are solo as well, that are indies and games that people made because they really wanted to get a story out there and things like that, that are worth it as well. It doesn't have to be AAA, but and the AAA wants everything to be the same. So how long until the AAA industry eats itself?
There's a gaming bubble that's gonna pop eventually.
Oh, I think it's popping
Like,
right now. I think we are pretty close to it, because it's starting to feel too stale. That's why, Halo Infinite failed, is it just wasn't what the Halo series should have been. That series has been declining for a little while, and it's not because the series itself is in its twilight years and nobody cares. It's because the people that are handling it just aren't telling the same compelling stories that they were before, or giving us the new excitement that we used to experience, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, that's why I like the indie
13 hours in Friday the 13th.
You have what? How many hours in that?
113 hours.
And well, that one's about to go away.
I think I got.
That just made me sad. I was like, wow. I was just trying to see what all the highest rated games and stuff I have played, and what ones are indie and what ones are like actual AAA. Yeah.
I'm sad about Friday being
AAA towards the top. Skyrim, Shogun.
My top 5 does not contain a AAA. Like in my hours played does not contain a AAA. Now I won't lie to you. 6, 7, and 9 are all AAA games though. It's 6 is Fallout 4. Yeah. 7 is
my top 5 are all indie stuff as well.
Baldur's Gate, Played Up, Ark, Tropico, and 2 Point Hospital.
Shogun's my number 2, and it's a AAA game. Creative Assembly.
Yeah.
We have 300. I have 324 hours in Phasmo. I paid $14 for that game. I'm pretty sure I got my money's worth.
Oh yeah, Played Up. I put a lot of time into. There's a lot of games. A lot of my top
250 in Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim's
234 in Shogun.
Oh man,
I got a lot of hours and do a lot of games.
Yeah.
Yep. Our 7 Days to Die
Skyrim
is
mainly
coming
because of the mods.
7 Days to Die is right around the rest of our survival crafting games.
I'm at 175 in that one.
150 to 200 hours is about where our survival crafting games are before we move on to the next one.
You are correct. That whole line right there. It's Pal World, I'm at 199. 7 Days to Die, I'm at 175. Conan Exiles is 153. And Project Zomboid at 151. It's like, yeah.
Except for Ark, because Ark we played a ton.
Conan. Wow.
And that one just had an update too.
7 Days to Die is 1 hour ahead of Project Zomboid right now.
Really?
Yeah. 7 Days is 104, and Project Zomboid is 103.
And Valheim, I was at 146. So that one hit right around that mark too. Before we were like, nah, I'm out.
I don't have
Valheim just the curve on that one place just it wrecked us.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It became unfun when you got to the Mistlands. Like, I get having like different styles like that, but man, it got to the point of where the mechanics of the environment became unfun.
Yeah.
And I was fine with the swamp, the dark forest, the mountains, even the plains. But then when you add this entirely wild mist factor, I was like,
that you needed to have the like slow fall cape for, because it was going to be a lot of parkouring, and I'm not good at platforming anyway, so that knocked me out of it. But I didn't like I don't mind a difficulty curve for each zone, but it felt like the curve got steeper and steeper every time, to the point that like even when we hit the plains before the Mistlands, I was like, man, this is kind of rough. This is a lot of grinding so that we can get all of the best things just to get into this zone. But I say that, I mean, I know Oak in his group they stopped playing too because they were struggling in the Mistlands and wanted to add a bunch of mods, but one of the people they were playing with didn't, I think. So that one's on hold right now, I think, for them. Although I do think they intend to return.
Conan's getting rid of the battle pass thing they had.
Are they? I saw they just got an update with like new kinds of thralls and things like that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're doing a bunch of stuff with the thralls and a lot of PVE oriented stuff, from my understanding. But yeah, they're getting rid of the battle pass. No one really seemed to care for that or like it.
Yeah, thank goodness. That was definitely.
I
Yeah.
mean, at least they listen to the community. We're like, yeah, okay, well, let's try something else.
yeah, they read the room on that one, I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just don't want everything to be the same. There's only so many times I want to play the same kind of game. I just want to see new stuff. And I'm not saying that every time you add like a sequel in your franchise that you have to reinvent the wheel, but that does mean that you should slow down that wheel and maybe slowly roll a little and not put them out so often. So that stuff has a chicken. Is your team doing poorly? You look very upset. Are you okay?
Sorry. Heart rate is really high right now.
Are we winning?
It's 31-29. There's 15 seconds left, so we'll see. It was very close. It was a kick to give us the 3 extra points because we were down by 1. So
Well,
had to. I've watched this team to know enough that shit like this happens and we lose. So I got to hold my breath every time. Sorry, a football thing, not you that you nerds care about.
American football too.
He has to hold his breath or his team loses.
Well, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm usually not allowed to watch the games because that means that they'll lose. But I will be at the game next week, so I don't know how that works. Does it
So
maybe
you get to make them lose in person, Grif.
But
Ooh.
maybe it cancels out if I'm there in person instead of watching them on TV, and then it's fine. I really don't.
You need to get like a bunch of like Lucky Rabbit's feet and
Come around with the little necklace of rabbit's feet.
make her like a nice like jacket of like Lucky's rabbit's foots and just all
There
over
you
it.
go.
And that way it looks like just a massive fur coat. I mean, it'll keep her warm.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold too. Well, okay. Sidetracking and moving on.
I mean, that was the last big.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was gonna go ahead and leave it open for Grif to talk about Silent Hill, spoiler-free style.
So yeah, spoiler free because Chicken's also playing it, and I wouldn't want to spoil it for anybody that's also playing it. But I finished the game. There were definitely parts of that where I'm like, yeah, this is not the original. This is not not in a bad way, but it was more like I didn't expect that. That game scared the shit out of me all over again. Like, it was so good, and I want to talk about it in depth so bad, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I have to wait for Chicken to. And Chicken has added difficulty modifiers for himself so that he is purposely running this game at a snail's pace. Like, this dude probably has like 20 hours in the game already and still hasn't, just got out of the apartments. Like, how am I ever going to talk to you about this? Please get on my level. It's
in like
beautiful,
6
though.
months.
I've made it because I turned it on hard mode and I made the puzzles harder. And as I have been playing through it, I was like, oh, I'm just using the melee weapon, and there's an achievement to beat the game only using melee. I was like, let's see how far I can go with just using the melee weapon. And I've made it pretty far. I have not shot a bullet at all so far.
Not me. They gave me a gun, and I'm like, legs, pop, pop. That's all I'm saying. You stop hiding. Stop kicking me in the face. Why are you like this? Get out from behind that chair. Yeah. I can't.
So,
I couldn't play it the way that he is.
I'm in the first major boss fight, and I'm just trying to beat him with the stick that I got, and
You'll get your pipe eventually.
It's tricky. But it's not too bad because the dodge mechanics are pretty nice. I'm gonna be 100% honest. It mildly feels like a AA game that looks like a AAA game because of how old the game is. Like there is not any complicated mechanics to it at all. It is super basic. I'm also a pretty hardcore. When I break down games, I try to look at every piece of the mechanic. Sometimes the hitboxes are a little funky. Sometimes the animations are a little funky. Like, it's hard to tell. I died at one point with the spraying of an enemy that wasn't even near me. I walked up to a clear spot and then died, and I was like, okay, all right, there must have been like some smoke at some point in this area that didn't dissipate before I walked into it and then died.
It does.
So,
that does happen. Sometimes it does not fully like it's not instant dissipation. You gotta give it a second.
I will. Okay, what are the funniest moments? Because I don't play this game scared like the rest of these people do. Because it's a horror game, so I don't play scared. But it is. What are the funniest moments? So they're legs enemies. They're like two legs sewn together.
It's the mannequin. Okay, he's adopted what I call them because I refuse to call them what they're actually called. Any of the enemies in the game, I don't care what the real names are. But
so they're mannequins, and if you've played the game, you've seen them, and they do this like the little kicky thing and all sorts of shit. And there, I came in and I knew there was one in here somewhere because they like to hide. So I found it behind some cans, and I was fighting it, and I hit it, and it like sometimes when you're fighting it, it'll back up, and it backed up. Like, it backed up to the door, and then it stepped through the door, and I'm sitting there ready to fight, and it backed up through the door, and then it just kind of looked at me, looked to the left, and just wandered off.
Because it was in a new room, so it ended combat and reset itself.
It reset the aggro, because if you walk out of the room or whatever, like, I was standing there with my stick, and it, like, backed up out of the room, and then, like, dropped its, like, defensive stance, and just, like, wandered off, and the door closed behind it, and I was like,
I feel like...
You gonna finish this, or what's going on?
It's fun. It's getting tired of being hit with the stick.
Yeah.
So I found it eventually in the room, hiding behind another can, and I hit it, and it fell through the wall back into its original room. And I was like, so I walked back into the room, and it's standing on the other side of the wall going, you ready to go again? Motherfucker, I had to chase you into you left me. I found you. You fell into this room, and I had to. So I beat its ass again. I was like, all right, are we done here?
I feel like with the legs specifically, they have two different AI running them, and one of them is hide and seek world championship level pro, hide everywhere and then kick you in the back of the head because you didn't see them, and the other one subscribes to like Scooby Gang logic, where I'm like walking down an alley, and at one point I just see the legs like come from one garage and just cross the street right in front of me into the next garage like I didn't see her. I'm like, I know where you are now. I saw that. And it was not like...
Yes.
That happened multiple times.
I have walked into a room and they were like standing off in the corner like, oh shit, someone's here. I'm gonna go hide under this table. And I watched them crawl and get under a table, and I'm like...
But other times you walk into the room, like you push the door open, you're like checking your corners, and you're like, okay, we're all clear. And you walk in, and then like she was like under the rug or some shit. She just comes out and kicks you in the back of the head.
I haven't had one under the rug yet.
How? I mean, not really, but it was just one of those things where she's hidden so well that you, even though you did your scared checks, because I did all of them with like gone out going, okay, well, you're right. Still get kicked in the back of the head.
Maybe she's doing like a Spider-Man on the ceiling thing.
Yeah, that is a possibility. That's, you know what? Spider legs. So, and I will say, there's two parts of that game that I find the most difficult, or previously had found the most difficult, which was the underworld side of the hospital, and under the historical society is the prison. And they were the scariest parts of the original game for me. And hospital still, like almost everything now that the graphical fidelity is so much better, is just way more scary. And the sound design, whoever did the sound design in that game, like, fuck you, I want to give you all the awards, okay? Like, you scared the shit out of me.
Yes, the sound design is super good. The music and everything. I will
unsettling.
say, it's unsettling for normal folks. But for me, I just like it. It sounds so good. I love that unsettling style music. It feels so good in a setting. I will say, played a little bit up to this point. I gotta say that fucking James is one of the stone coldest motherfuckers I have ever seen in a horror game. This mofo has nerves of goddamn titanium.
Yeah.
Like, nothing shakes this man. Nothing. The shit that he sees at the beginning of the game, he's like, I got a fucking piece of wood. You ready to go? You ready to go?
You know,
Big dude with a giant ass knife, and he's like, I got a stick. Let's go.
I will say, like, of all of the, because I have not played the entire Silent Hill franchise, just some of them unavailable and things like that, and I'm not gonna go spend $10 million as a collector. But I really liked Downpour for Murphy, because Murphy was like, he's some dude and he gets trapped in this like scary situation here. And he's like, I need to survive, but seriously, what the hell is happening? What is that? What is that? Why is that? Like, Murphy, they at least let have that level of, I'm afraid because I don't understand what's happening. And I'm not sure why other horror games do not also have their protagonists be equally as unnerved as the player, you know, because it is a little weird sometimes for me to be like, I am so terrified. And James Sunderland's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna eat this for breakfast. Like,
yeah, not a hint of fear in that brother man's eyes, which I highly respect, because I feel like I'm playing through him.
There are moments specifically, like there are moments in the story where he is afraid, and I will give it to his actor, and every actor that's in this game did a fantastic job. But there are moments where I really feel for him because I can tell he's afraid. And things like that, even if he does
see where those points are.
Otherwise, you know, carry on very strongly. He's very stoic. I think that's what he's meant to be, is kind of the stoic protagonist. But you get too much of that sometimes in horror games.
He feels like a mix of like early Leon and Resident Evil 4 Leon. Like he feels like he doesn't
make enough like funny quips to be Leon.
Well, that's the problem. That's why he's somewhere in between, because there are certain moments where he's kind of like, what is that thing? You know, he's confused, and then right after that he's like, I don't care what it is.
I'm
going to rescue the person I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what stands in my way. There is nothing in this hellscape that is going to stop me. Honestly, it feels like Kratos going through the fucking thing, where it's just nothing. No matter how terrifying or overpowered it is, nothing is going to stop this man.
Yeah.
Like a literal one-man army.
Oh, it was so good though. I'm so ready for Chicken to make more progress in it, and I really I almost hate that we're going out of town, because it's one of those things where it's like, now we're gonna be gone for a whole week, and he's not gonna get to play until like next week before we can talk about more of this stuff. So,
well, I have to beat this boss fight, and doing it with a stick is very difficult.
I was so proud of myself in one of the boss fights that I did last night, and I want to talk to you about it so bad so that you can also be proud of me, and I can't talk to you about it. So, I refuse to give anything about that one away. But it's so good. If you like scary games and were on the fence because you were waiting to see how this one did, buy it. Just do it. I mean, and if you've played the previous and you're like, I don't need it, I've already played Silent Hill 2 once. No, it's not the same. Not the same. I mean,
we've talked about this before, and the opinion is starting to grow that this game might actually be the true replacement for the original.
To be fair, the original had terrible controls and a lot of limitations because of the hardware it was made on.
It doesn't matter. You have games like Resident Evil 4 Remake. Like, there are certain parts, like, they made the characters and the setting different enough, but they improved everything in the remake, but the original still has some things to it. In this situation, like, this one is so good. Like, they just improved everything flatlined. Like, everything got raised.
I mentioned the prison earlier. One of the things about the prison that I found incredibly unnerving the first time, they had changed, so it wasn't there like it was before. But the things that they changed in its place, equally unnerving. No, thank you. I don't want to do that again. I mean, I will. I'm going to. I'm going to New Game Plus because there's new endings and stuff. But I'm not looking forward to that part. I'm not.
The ending with the dog still?
One's
there
in
is
New
a dog
Game Plus.
ending.
Yes, to do the dog ending or the UFO ending, you have to do New Game Plus. And then they added 2 new endings. So there's 3 endings that are original to the game for the first run, and it's the leaving water and something else. And then they added 2 new ones, Bliss and Rebirth, which I don't know anything about either one of those. Like I could guess, but I don't know anything about them. But you have to go through a second time and pick up some stuff on your New Game Plus run in order to get those. But it's the same thing with like the dog ending and the UFO ending. You have to go through New Game Plus and pick up things to get those as well. So
I remember getting the dog ending when I played through the original.
You can get that one on New Game Plus.
that's what I said.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about with the original one though. Like when I went through the game the first time, I got that one somehow. And I don't know how the fuck I did it. But...
I don't know how you did either, because there's like very specific things that you have to do in order to get those endings.
There's one specific ending that I want to try to get, and I had a theory of that ending before the game even came out. Which, to be fair, it's a fantastic idea for a secret ending to the game. So,
well, it's fantastic. It is
yes.
super, super, super good. I really liked it.
So I've been playing that. I've also gotten rehooked on Shogun 2, unfortunately.
That's I can play it around Nugget game.
I absolutely in this new game, I absolutely went on a tear. I started as the date, and I got 5 territories up in the northern part, and I held them while the Takeda and Oda wiped off the middle of the entire map. And I held my turn. I grew my cities. I grew. I had 2 major armies. And when the Takeda finally cleared every other faction off the board, it was just me. I think there were 5 factions left by the time I made my turn. I was like, all right, now it's go time. And I fucking just win it. Like, they brought their armies in, and I came crashing down. Because I had ninjas like flood out from my territory and start sabotaging everything. Like, they started losing money like crazy. Everything started falling apart in the territories, and I just brought my armies in, swarmed everything, marched my way directly to Kyoto, wiped the Takeda off, wiped the Oda off. 2 faction came back from the dead. And they backstabbed me after I gave them so much money. They backstabbed me. A 3rd faction came up and started like tearing through my territory in the middle. So I had to send one of my main armies back and another one. So I had to swarm the middle of my territories to get everything back. Now I'm going back to the west to push everything back because I got to take 40 territories. But I've got it all under control now. I will say it sucks because the clan that took over the shogunate was a Christian clan, and they have spread Christianity through the entire west. Like, all of that is Christian land, and all of mine is Buddhist land. So now I've got to slowly push it back, because every time I take a territory, the Christian rebels take it back. Ugh. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I put a lot of time. I put like another 30 hours into it. I was like, oh god, again.
There
I need
are
Shogun
those
3.
games that just rehook you.
Yeah, I wasn't even like entirely sold on it either. I was like, oh, I'll just throw this up. I do this every once in a while, but all of my saved games were on my other hard drive, which I still have. I was like, I could move them over and maybe pick one up. Fuck it, I'll just start over. I've still got them in case I need it. And here I am, 30 hours later, about to beat it. It's like, okay, fine.
That's funny.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's been so fun.
What have you been doing, Baka?
I got a itch for a bit of Grand Theft Auto again, like the online. Like I just do a private match, like our friends only, and just go around and do a few little missions here and there, and just fuck around and.
Not have to worry about all the griefers.
Oh god. I guess somewhere in my brain, I forgot to put it in like friends only, and I went into a lobby with a bunch of other people. As soon as I walked out, I got shot and blown up, and I'm just like,
you're like, yeah, that's why I don't do that. Let me go ahead and back out.
But I went around. They're doing Halloween events, so I went around, and there's a bunch of ghosts that you have to take pictures of between certain times. And if you do that, you unlock basically GTA's equivalent of like the Ghostbuster outfit, and then you
neat.
get uh, uh, a
Ecto
thing
1.
for your well, you get a thing to put on that car, and
Yeah.
the car is like super cheap and on sale right now. So I bought the car, threw it on the car. So now I'm just driving around in Ecto 1. That is my get around vehicle.
I
It
mean,
even has the little horn thing to do it.
Hell yeah, gotta have the horn.
I just wish it was like a thing where it's like with the cop cars where you just hit it and it just goes.
Yeah, keep it
oh, like a
going.
Like,
siren.
yeah, I have to actually hold down the thing.
Mm.
I'm like, shit. But yeah, I don't know. I just been fucking around with it and seeing, because I'm sure once 6 comes out online for 5, it's probably gonna just start to die.
Probably. Well, I don't know. They've got a huge community that sunk so much money over the decade that it's been out into that one. So,
Well, assuming it even comes out with multiplayer right out of the
well,
gate
that's
anyway.
true. That's true.
But yeah, because
Uh,
5 it didn't have multiplayer right out the gate either, and when it did, it was so limited on what you could do to earn money or do anything. But
I will say, if Rockstar is smart this time around, they will put RP stuff in the multiplayer. Like, they'll have an option to basically turn it on or turn it off or things like that. Because a lot of people do a lot of the mod interactions and whatnot. They got like food, water, things like that. You got to eat lots of RP stuff and things like that. They had to mod into the game. If Rockstar's smart, they'll have it already
I
ready
mean,
for the
well,
modding or for the RP community.
Rockstar bought 5M.
Yeah, they
Oh,
It-
did
did.
they?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. When did they
Wait,
buy
yeah,
5M?
it is. Yeah, that's the one that does all the
The
stuff
actual
for
RP servers. Yeah.
yeah. So that they own it. So
I wonder
Oh,
if that
about a
means
year
that
ago.
they're more likely to have
Oh,
that on
100%. They're
launch.
gonna make RP servers guaranteed. 100% positive now.
I mean, it's done pretty well for, the mod people and everything,
yeah,
so
I mean it's kept Grand Theft Auto going for
mods do that.
interest. Yeah,
Mods, people. Oh my gosh, I can't like emphasize that enough. If you want your game to last, mods. Which is why Boulder's Gate literally was
but
like,
I mean,
here's
and
mods,
here's the
go for
thing
it.
though is like that would also be very interesting as well, because it's not going to be just like, oh well, you hop into Grand Theft Auto Online and you have to worry about some asshole pulling out a weapon or a flying bike vehicle and blowing you up. It's like if it's an RP thing, that things like that could be bannable, because like for those servers and stuff like that, there are rules you have to follow.
Yes, because there are
And guide
cops and
them.
everybody, and they can arrest you. Like there are like
Mhm.
actual RP stuff. You cannot have those kind of things on you. So, and
Well,
they're
and
very
most of
difficult
them
to
don't
get.
even allow like that
Give me
stupid
just a second.
flying
You guys
bike,
keep going.
the flying bike, and the attack helicopters, and
Hmm.
most of that is not even in any of those servers. It's just basic stuff. And yeah, you can get access to guns and weapons, but depending on the server, they're really hard to get access to.
Yeah, like it's great stuff. I can guarantee they're doing RP servers when it comes out, because that alone, especially officially moderated RP servers, is going to be huge for GTA 6.
I need to
Yeah,
I need to run.
I'm interested in
Okay,
just
that's
seeing
fine.
the GTA 6 though.
Oh yeah.
Did you want me to just go and come back, or are you guys
No, that's it. I think we were done.
okay? Yeah. Sorry to cut it short.
Well, it's not
nugget
short. We're over
duty.
an hour. It's a good one.
Yeah. That's me. That's me. I got to do it this time.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Sorry.
that's
Thanks
great.
for hanging out.
Yeah, what's that here?
I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm so used to Chicken doing the intro and Oak doing the outro. I forgot that I needed to do the thing. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Oak streaming now and then on Twitch, twitch.tv/MDB Oak Tree. Chicken will definitely not be, because we're about to go out of town. So I don't know when he's gonna get back to that. Y'all just hold your horses. And I'm just not doing anything, and Baka's not either. We're hanging out. We're living our best lives, as best we can.
I'm working a shit ton, so.
And I think that's it. Cool. Don't forget to join the Chicken Discord. It's linked below in the description area of wherever you're listening and or watching. So Thanks for hanging out for Infinity Respawn. I'm Grif.
I'm chicken.
Baka.
Bye.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.